living in his memory of back in the day. He's living in his memory of back in the day.
I think we're worse. Well, in some ways we're better, but I think the economy and our, and all that is worse than it was back then. I mean, nobody was real, well, there were some people that were real rich back then, but most everybody was about the same, When I was growing up, we were poor, dirt poor, but we didn't know that. I mean, my mother and dad did, but us kids didn't. I never felt like I was poor. You don't have to have money to be rich. I mean, I've got a wonderful, wonderful family, and to me, I'm the richest woman in the world. Hi, my name's Martha Watson, and I was born in Dalton, Georgia. I was born August the 25th, 1938, and I'm 77 years old. When I was a child, I got this beautiful doll for Christmas. I guess I was about 9 years old. And I just thought it was the most beautiful doll I'd ever seen. And my brother took a hammer and beat its head in. I was so mad at him for I don't know how long, but I got over it. I remember when John Kennedy got killed because I was cooking in the kitchen, and we lived here, and my husband's mother and father were here. And we just quit what we were doing and was just glued to the television, because it was such a horrible thing to happen. And was John Kennedy. And next to him, I guess, would have been Bill Clinton. He was a good president. He had morals of an alley cat, but he was a good president, I thought. I remember my first TV. We bought it in 1954, and it was black and white. And if I'm not mistaken, it was an Edison. Before that, we just listened to the radio. There was some kind of shows, The Shadow, and I remember Roy Rogers and Gene Autry came on, and on Saturdays we would go to the movie. We would go to Denton to the movie, and my mother and dad would go buy groceries and stuff like that, and they'd put us in the movies, my two brothers and I. And most of them were Westerns, but it would just show part of it. It was like a serial, a series of, and you'd watch it and then it would be to be continued, the next Saturday. You'd have to go back the next Saturday to see what happened. Segregation never did affect me. I always thought it was stupid myself. I mean, why segregate people? We're all going to be here on this earth together, so why do it? But it was done. I don't think I'm prejudiced. I just think we just should leave things alone. God knows what He's doing. We shouldn't be interfering into it, forever. I mean, till death do us part. And we really meant that. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't have good days and bad days, and things like that. It wasn't just joyful all the time, but it was joyful the biggest part of the time. But when you have problems, you need to talk them out. Talk about them, work them out, because, most things can be figured out, just by talking about them and going to the Lord, asking the Lord for help. So, the first car that we had was Studebaker. You probably don't know what that is, but you probably do. But it's an old car. And the front end and the back end looked just almost alike. It was a coupe. And it kind of come to a point in the front and in the back. I always thought they were ugly, but that was just my opinion. I couldn't drive, but I thought it didn't look hard. So I loaded the car up with some stuff, and I went around town the back way, you know, to get to where we were moving to, and I ran off in a ditch. Weekend, we went to Frederick, Oklahoma. It had knocked the front end of that car out of line, and it wore out 2 tires going up there. So Max bought 2 tires and put on there. Then he traded the car on another car at another Studebaker, but a bigger, newer model. And I never did tell him what I'd done, but somebody else told him though. Well, I'm the oldest child of 5 children. My mother and dad had, and there was 3 boys and 2 girls. And my sister passed away when she was like 16 years old. My sister had muscular dystrophy, but I had a brother that had muscular dystrophy, and he lived till he was 64 years old. So we were just so thankful to God that he let us keep him for that long. 2 of my brothers are gone now, and my sister, and I'm the oldest in the family, and the youngest child is a boy and my brother, and it's just us 2 left. And he has just, and since I lost my husband, why, he has been just wonderful. When I was a child, I didn't get an allowance, but we got to us, the allowance that we would have got, we went to the movies and on Saturdays and things like that. But as far as an allowance, or like if we lost a tooth, we didn't get any money for that or anything, you know, like children do now. I think a lot of families my age, or, you know, mothers and fathers my age, don't get the respect that they deserve. Now, I'm not just saying this because it's my children, but they have always respected us. And if there's anything that I need or that they can do for me, they do it. I've heard children, you know, talk so rude to their parents, and I have never, none of my children have never said, you know, rude things like that to me. And if I had said something like that to my mother or father, I probably wouldn't be here today. But you know, I just never even thought about doing that. You know, being disrespectful to my parents. Peanut butter logs, they were little bitty logs like that. And you could buy the bigger ones, but they would cost more. Mary Jane's maybe. Oh, they were wonderful. We just loved them. It tastes like peanut butter. But, you know, sweetened peanut butter. Oh, they were so good. And then they started making bigger ones, and I don't even know if they make them anymore. I haven't seen any. What was a penny then is a quarter now. If the president asked me for advice, I'd tell him he needs to get a little more backbone. Speak up, you know, and get us out of this trouble we're in. I think manners are a thing of the past. I mean, a lot of people still have them, but, you know, the younger generation coming up, it seems like they don't even know what they are. I would like to see this revived when the family sits down at the dinner table. You know, everybody would sit there, eat like they're supposed to, and not, I mean, it's okay to talk at the dinner table, but really it's to eat at, you know. Everybody eat around the dinner table. Say, for instance, you know, the children, if you have children, you know, and they're just talking with their mouth full, you know, and stuff like that. Now that I can't abide by. Being on their cell phones, you know. We'll take, for instance, the other night, I'm actually not should tell this. The other night we went out to eat. He was upset, I guess, at everybody, and he didn't talk to anyone. He just was on his phone the whole time. And that was very rude, I thought. I'd like to tell them to be honest, to be truthful to themselves, and believe in God. And believe in God is the main thing. And we have so many people now that don't believe in God. And, but I would just like for them to be truthful to themselves and try to stay on the right track. Stay, not getting any bad trouble or anything like that. I know that's hard to do over a period of time, but it can be done. My name's Martha Watson, and I'm 77 years old.